Hey everyone, Sky here to discuss The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, starring Brendan Fraser, Jet Li, Maria Bello, Luke Ford, and Michelle Yeoh, directed by Rob Cohen. Now I gotta remember that I saw this movie in theaters, and I remember it being kind of a drag, yeah. So how much of a drag is it then versus now? Let's get into it. In ancient China, a warrior believing only in war called the Dragon Emperor, played by Jet Li, who's a ruthless warrior, destroys kingdom after kingdom to get a wall of China. Sounds familiar. And a General Ming, who's an old friend of the Dragon Emperor, goes after a witch named Zi Yuan, forgive me if I said that wrong, played by Michelle Yeoh, to kill her, and doesn't but instead falls in love with her. And the Dragon Emperor finds out and kills Ming, as well as Zi Yuan. I can't even know if I can't remember if I say that right. Who puts a curse on the Dragon Emperor for thousands of years. What a horrible opening sequence, I must say. In 1946, Rick O'Connell, returned by Brendan Fraser, goes fishing, and this character is miserable. Meanwhile, his wife Evie, played this time by Maria Bello, writes a book about the events of the first two movies called The Mummy, which makes sense, I can see why, but what in the hell happened to Rachel Weisz that was so important she couldn't come back to this movie? I'm trying to remember what it was, but I'm not going to bother. Because Maria Bello is absolutely freaking horrible in this movie, and she's done much better movies than this, and her accent is bad. Alex O'Connell, played this time by Luke Ford as an adult, is much worse than in The Mummy Returns, and again, a stupid character that didn't have to be in this movie. In fact, better yet, what was the point of doing a third part of the Brendan Fraser Mummy series, remind me? He finds the Dragon Emperor with his partner Wilson and fights a lady ninja, which was badly choreographed. In Shanghai, celebrating Chinese New Year, Alex finds Jonathan, returned by John Hannah, as Rick and Evie visit Jonathan, and finds Alex, who are estranged from each other. And I'm thinking two things. One, why is Alex in this movie? And two, why make a third film in the first place? I don't know what it is. Alex takes Rick and Evie to the statue of the Dragon Emperor on horses he found as they get attacked by Wilson and holds them hostage to awaken the Dragon Emperor. Alex finds out Wilson is a traitor, and with this fighter, Ling saves Rick and Evie and the Dragon Emperor. Next thing you know, awakens, and these effects look so damn terrible. Thank God Wilson gets killed at this point, because he was getting on my nerves. Hell, the characters are getting on my nerves anyways. The chase in Shanghai was obnoxious. For example, when Jonathan set on fire from Chinese fireworks and says, "Spank my ass," which was very inappropriate and unnecessary. And the rest of the chase was ridiculously stupid as hell. The movie is very unnecessary, I must confess that too. Rick, Evie, Alex, Jonathan, and Ling go to the mountains, and all the mountain sequences until they get to their location. With those sequences, and compared to the types of guns, while the bad guys do eventually catch up to them, and the movie drags while all this is going on. And this is an hour and 52-minute movie, and I felt like it needed about 10 to 15 minutes of the cutting room floor. While they're fighting the bad guys, Ling brings in 4 abominable snowmen, which dumbed the movie way down, and this is turning into something I don't want to watch anymore, because it's a complete downer. Alex almost throws dynamite, and the Dragon Emperor stops it by throwing a sword meant for Alex, but Rick sacrifices himself, and they get buried by snow. And I don't think I can take this movie anymore, as they survive, and I got 40 more minutes left. They run to Zi Yuan's cave, and as she saved Rick's life. And I was checked out of this movie starting now, because it's just so bad. Rick and awakens as Alex finds out Ling is immortal, and the acting is so bad in these scenes, and in this movie, might I add. They get ambushed by the Dragon Emperor, and he turns into a three-headed dragon, which is created by the Dragon Emperor, and as he takes Ling to the tomb of the Dragon Emperor, and his dead army awaken, as Rick, Evie, and Alex distract the army while Zi-Yuan sacrifices herself and her daughter from immortality to awaken the dead caused by the Dragon Emperor. And what makes matters worse is they fight Rick and Evie while Alex saves Ling, and the effects on every single freaking mummy look so damn awful. It's unacceptable. I'm sorry. Zi-Yuan is killed by the Dragon Emperor, which is once again very bad choreographed, and the plane comes in as the Dragon Emperor turns into something absolutely ridiculous and knocks the plane down, and Rick and Alex try to kill the Dragon Emperor through the heart and get in another badly choreographed fight and destroy the Tomb Emperor as he rules in hell along with his army. Please let me walk away from this god-awful film. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 1.6 out of 10. The effects are bad, the acting is terrible, the choreography is terrible as well. The characters are miserable. I can't believe this is the same movie universe as the first two movies. This is one of the worst Mummy films I ever saw in my entire life, but we'll see how next week goes. Yeah, I'll talk about it next time. And until next time, here we go again.